that time we're coming up with a way to, there we go. We're coming up with a way for how to introduce this, but Bible talks about faith quite a bit. And it talks about a living faith. How do we show a living faith? Well, one thing is, are there people pool their efforts to meet a crisis? All right? If you've ever lived near a river and the river banks are about to overflow and maybe damage some properties, what do people do? They make sandbags and they come and they work together to dam up the water, right? But why do they do that? Why do they come together to do that? Well, Proverbs says many hands makes light work, right? And the same is when a crisis happens. 9/11. What happened with most people on 9/11 in 2001? Well, there was 3 disaster areas, right? There was Washington, D.C., there was New York City, and then there was a field not far from here. But what did other people do?
They went to help.
They went to help, okay? All right? I mean, fire departments from all over the country ended up in New York City and in Washington, D.C. All right? But what else did people do?
They prayed.
They prayed. They got together. They prayed. That's faith. What did they pray for? Well, I can tell you, for the most part, I was praying for my family who lives near there. All right? And the peace that I got when I finally got through and got to talk to some that they weren't there. Okay? My 2 cousins were transit cops at the World Trade Center. They should have been underneath the Trade Center. One got transferred out to Nassau County, and the other one was late for work. The 107th floor, I have family that worked on that floor in the first tower. One was standing outside, having his Dunkin' Donuts coffee and donuts with his cab driver. And the other, 2 others, one got transferred out to Long Island, and the other one was late for work. What a relief. But then there were people who lost loved ones. And what did we do? For the most part, we gathered around, and people came together. All right? People pooled their efforts to meet a crisis. All right? What motivates the group to do this? Any idea?
Compassion.
Very good.
One said compassion.
Oh, I love that word. I was thinking of the word love, but it's the same thing. Okay? In 1 Corinthians it tells us if one of the body hurts, the whole body hurts. And if one is rejoicing, the whole body rejoices. Okay? All right? We just had, I'm so glad to see Miss Shirley sitting.
Yeah.
It is so good to see you today. All right? But yet what happened? All right? Louis passed and everybody gathered around. We became a source of strength, and we became a source of comfort and encouragement. And that's what motivates the group. All right? And why? It's because of a living faith. That we believe in something better than this place. And we have a hope that the world doesn't understand. All right? We have a hope that when this life is over, there's an eternal place of peace and love and comfort that awaits us, right? And we are motivated by faith and by love to demonstrate this, all right? James is speaking, the letter to James, from James, is speaking to a group of Christians that have been scattered. They're the Greek-speaking Jews that became Christians, and they were scattered. Why? Because they were scattered because of persecution from Jerusalem, and then there was persecution from the Roman Empire. All right? And what did they do? They gathered. They got together. They helped each other. Proverbs talks about this, and I'm going to relate it. It says, blessed is the man who falls and has someone to help him up. And it says a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. So when one suffers and they have a group that can gather around them and help and encourage them, they become stronger themselves, right? They feed off of this. So James is speaking to these Christians, and he's basically, he's going to tell them something very direct. James pulls no punches here. And he's going to hit hard. And he's going to talk to us today about ways to make our faith a living faith. All right? Faith is supposed to be active, and look at that next word. Proactive. It is not a reaction, but we're proactive. We're here to do something constructive. We're here to do something to help. All right? Now, James chapter 2 is where we're going to be. And it's chapter 2, verses 14 through 26. And if you would, please read along with me. Can't get my fingers to work. There it is. James chapter 2, and starting with verse 16. Well, actually, we'll go back up to 14. All right, 14, I'm sorry. What good is it, my brothers and sisters, if someone claims to have faith but has no deeds? Can such faith save them? Suppose a brother or sister is without clothes and daily food. If one of you says to them, go in peace, keep warm and well fed, but does nothing about their physical needs, what good is it? In the same way, faith by itself, if not accompanied by actions, is dead. But someone will say, you have faith, I have deeds. Show me your faith without deeds, and I will show you my faith by my deeds. You believe that there is one God. Good. Even the devil believes that and shudders. You foolish person, do you want evidence that faith without deeds is useless? Was not our father Abraham considered righteous for what he did when he offered his son Isaac on the altar? You see that his faith and his actions were working together, and his faith was made complete by what he did. And scripture was fulfilled that it says that Abraham believed God and was credited to him as righteousness, and he was called God's friend. But you see that a person is considered righteous by what they do and not by faith alone. In the same way, was not even Rahab, the prostitute, considered righteous for what she did when she gave lodging to the spies and sent them in a different direction. As the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without deeds is dead. Faith without deeds is dead. So here it is, dead, no actions. It's stagnant. It stinks. Some people might have the attitude, well, I've done enough. Hey, I came forward, I was dunked in the water, all right? Everybody greeted me, and I show up here on Sunday morning. Isn't that enough? I got a question. What if God ever said to us, you're on your own, I've done enough? Where would we be? Well, the same it is with us. Now tonight we're going to get into a little bit about that, about even gray hair and how we are still working for God. But a dead faith is no good. It's no good. It's stagnant and it stinks. All right? Now, he talks about having a living faith, and a living faith shows what we believe and why we believe it. And we ask the question, what more can I do? And I don't say, it's not a give up question. This is asking God, what more do you want me to do? What else can I do for you? I like that one better. What else can we do? All right? And that's a living faith. Abraham and Rahab. All right? Now, Abraham I understand, okay? Abraham was living in the land of Ur of the Chaldeans, and he was told to go to this place, and he said, where? Never heard of this place. Didn't know how to get there. But he trusted God, and he took his wife and his nephew Lot, and they left the land of their fathers. They left their family to go and settle in a place that they were surrounded by pagans. And God says to Abraham, take a look. As far as you can see, east, west, north, south, as far as you can see, I'm going to give you and your descendants all this land. Now, Abraham at this point has got to be saying, who? Because he doesn't have any children, does he? Matter of fact, later on he's going to complain and says, Lord, if I don't get any children soon, I'm going to have to leave everything to my slave Eliezer. All right? And God says, it's okay. You're going to have a son. And I can almost, okay, now I don't think Abraham would do this, but I can almost imagine human nature saying, yeah, right. I'm old. My wife is old. How is this going to happen? But Scripture said that Abraham believed God, and it was credited to him as righteousness. And at an old age, he has a son, Isaac. And God says to him, take your little boy, go up the hill, and sacrifice him to me. Now, I guess Abraham's got to be scratching his head and go, wait a minute, God, did you take back your promise? But God doesn't do that, right? He doesn't take back his promises. So somehow Abraham just put it in his head, look, God knows what he's doing. He's going to make this right somehow. So I'm just going to trust him. And I love, as you read the story of Abraham growing up, and his son says to him, I see the fire, I see the wood, but where is the sacrifice? And Abraham looks at his son and said, God will provide. Do we have that kind of faith? That as things start to go bad, we start to, oh, what are we going to do if this happens? What are we going to do if that happens? And we start wringing our hands and getting a few extra gray hairs from that little 5-letter word. Right? How much more peace would we have if we would just say, God will provide? Now I can understand that. Rahab, I don't understand, okay? Rahab is living in the city of Jericho, and she knows these spies are there. And even her own words said, we know that God is with you. And she hides them. She protects them. And as they leave, they tell her, and I was going to bring it, I forgot to bring it, just one of those things that happens, to hang a scarlet cord outside the window. And when it all breaks loose, everybody in your house is going to be protected. Now, I don't know about you, but me, I would be saying, listen, I'd feel safer with a few shields, a couple of swords, some big old men guarding the door. But maybe she did get that, but she just didn't see him. But by faith, she hangs that cord out the window. And she trusts God that everything's going to be all right for her and her family. Do we have that kind of faith? Do we have enough faith do we have faith that says no matter what happens, God is good, and I'm just going to trust Him? We do for others because of what God has done for us. Now, he goes back and he says, if you see your brother in need, I love this part. You see your brother in need, he's hungry, he's not clothed very well, and you just say, be warm and well fed, I'm praying for you, okay? No, I'm not putting down prayer, okay? But you understand what I'm saying here. And he said, and if you don't do something to meet that need, your faith is useless. Now, just a month ago, that happened here. And we all got together and we helped out several families, right? A couple of families for Christmas, all right? We helped out Grundy, all right? Mountain Mission as well. And why? Why do we do it? So that we earn points with God. Didn't use that word. Okay, but we earn points with God. No, we did it because we are blessed, and we are blessed to be a blessing. So we were able to help other people. Now, many years ago, we were living upstate New York. We came down, and Dad was part of a charitable organization that helped out families in the neighborhood during Christmas and Thanksgiving. Now, of course, first of all, my neighborhood in Elmont was very large. We had 3 elementary schools, and we had 3 high schools, and we didn't have a graduating class less than 900. Okay, so that gives you a big idea about how big this area is. And Dad just had that way of walking into a merchant and making him give stuff up. He walked into several of the grocery stores and he would say, I need 200 turkeys. And these guys were just giving vouchers for turkeys. Now, there were several different grocery stores, so he was able to do that. But then, so now it came time to deliver them. And this was, a lot of times, this was the fun part, all right? I love doing that, and just as we came up the path with the bags of groceries and clothes and gifts and that, and some of the kids come running out and see us, they were so excited. I had one. I'm thankful I don't have this one. I knock on the door, and the guy goes, yeah? And I tell him I'm from this charity. It's open. Okay, open the door, and there he is, sitting on the couch with the TV on, just watching TV. He goes, and I said, well, where do you want this stuff? He goes, where's the bag with the food? Over here. Let me see it. I brought it over to him. He opened it. Oh man, you gave me a ham. I wanted a turkey. I'm like, okay. He goes, can you go back and change this ham for a turkey for me? And I was like, no, all the turkeys have been getting, oh man. All right, kitchen's in there. And he sat on the couch while my son and I dragged everything. I tell you, both my son and I, we were ready to just take the stuff back out to the car. We're going to get people like that. That's not our responsibility, right? Our responsibility is to show a living faith and to help those who need help, right? That's what he said. If you see a brother in need, you meet the need. You take care of it. You do what you can in this situation. Why? Because God has done it for us. He saw our need. He came down from heaven. He died on that cross. He gave it all. And because he did, we should. Now, are there people that jeered him? Are there people that say, I don't need that? How about people who say, is that all you're going to do? So we do. The 3 ups, okay? Now this, I was going to use a baseball analogy, 3 up, 3 down. That's what. How many remember a movie called Good Morning Vietnam? All right, and the master sergeant, he had 3 stripes up, 3 stripes down, and he says, Robin Williams called him sir. He goes, hey, I got 3 up, 3 down. What does that mean? And what did he say? An end of an inning. Baseball analogy, 3 up, 3 down. Okay, so 3 ups. Okay, first is show up. Show up. Be there. Sometimes just our presence is enough. Somebody's hurting. Just our presence is enough. We make it about them. We give a shoulder. We give an ear. Sometimes we put a hand on a shoulder to give comfort. Right? A hug. How medicinal can that be? A hug says I care more than anything else. So we show up. Right? Now, we have problems with this next one. Because we show up and we think that we have to come up with some wisdom in words. Right? And in doing that, sometimes we have said the wrong thing. Right? We were talking about that in Bible study a couple of weeks ago when Matt was about 3 years old and Loretta and I were trying for one more child. And in the 4th month, she lost a baby. And that was very hard for us because all around us, all her friends were pregnant. And one person, they meant well, they just looked at Loretta and said, oh, you're young, you'll have another one. And sometimes that's just not the right thing to say. Sometimes because we think we have to say something, we say the wrong thing. Right? But here he says, listen up. Sometimes words from us are just not necessary. Let them talk. Maybe they just need an ear. My father used to tell me, you got 2 ears, 1 mouth, so you should listen twice as much as you speak. Good wisdom. Right? God gave us 2 ears, and sometimes a person that's struggling at the moment, all they need is an ear. Let them unburden themselves.